this is going to be about 30 or 45 minutes. And this is going to be a really casual presentation. I'm just going to talk. And I decided to do this because folks, a lot of people were asking me, and a lot of people are coming to me and being like, my business is different this year. My business is reacting to what's happening in the world. But what I saw is that those business owners weren't reacting to what was happening. And if we are not able to pivot, we are not going to be able to survive as businesses. If you could choose to be one of these two businesses right now, what would you choose? My guess is that you would choose Netflix, because Netflix still exists, and Blockbuster, if you're my age, you probably remember it. And when companies choose to ignore the environment, Blockbuster could have gone and tried too late to go to digital. Blockbuster could have done that, but they chose not to. And I just find this so fascinating that Blockbuster got an offer to buy Netflix and they turned it down. But at any point, I want to ask myself, do I want to be a Blockbuster or do I want to be a Netflix? A lot of folks started businesses during the pandemic. Is the world different now than it was in 2020? Perhaps you started before the pandemic, which somehow that pandemic left an indelible mark on what we do. But not only is the world different, how we communicate is different. Did you have an iPhone 15 when you started your business? So if your business doesn't change, but everything around it does, of course, people will buy from you differently. What does it look like if I respond to the environment around me and I stop blaming things and I start pivoting and creating a business that can exist in any environment? Before we get started, what I'm going to do during the call, so I'm going to go through some of the facts of the world right now, and then I'm going to go through 6 things that you can do, like going to the movies or lipstick, which are things that I knew because I'd gone to business school, go up during a recession, and that business thrived. And then that dance business, like when you own a business for 16 years, you change. And I was in a city where parking changed dramatically, where I was located, and I had to pivot. But if you just sit and get mad at the thing that changed, things will get worse for you. If you sit, look at it, and think, how can I thrive in this environment? Things will go well for you. I sort of foresaw what was happening with COVID, and then I used what I had done to go full-time with my coaching business. What is true about what is happening in the world, and this is going to allow you some things that I think you should start paying attention to. First of all, nothing is the same as it was 6 months ago. When I say nothing, I mean how people are paying attention, how people are buying, what people are spending money on, and what people are choosing that they need. Now, an interesting fact is that they often said to be in a recalled set, which is a marketing term that means that when I say cola, you say Coke. He said, if you're not paying attention to AI and how it can help you and how it might make you pivot your business, in 5 years, you're not going to have a business. And I think we all need to take that seriously. We need to learn how to use it. So also, but in a divisive world, what I'm also seeing is alignment of purchasing with values. We're having very clear statements are sort of gathering the people who align with them and they're purchasing with them. So it's no longer, we can't lean back on our heels and just think people are just going to come to us. We need to think I really need to be clear. I need to be very in line with my customer who aligns with my values and attracting them to me. So from all those things I just said, tech, AI, things like that. So what I would say from all those things I just said, we are going to send you this as a recording, or if you're listening to this on the recording, perhaps listen to it again and think, what are those things do I need to pay the most attention to based on who I am and what environment I choose to sell my products or services in? Right now, I'm teaching a course on social media in the 6-figure circle, and we're seeing people have amazing results because I'm teaching them about what's new and not marketing the way that you did during COVID or having to readjust. Or I like to think, what is it like if my business is constantly adjusting and constantly moving? And I'm not saying that you need to grow up, but I'm saying that businesses can choose to elevate and can choose to garner a level of maturity that will allow them to pivot and change. So step number 1 in doing this is you have to deeply know your target audience. So I need to laser target on that ideal person and think about what are they thinking. Now, when I talk about target audience, it's not like this is who would be nice for me, and it's not you. And then I'm going to do something called STP, which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. If they're wealthy, perhaps this is a time their wealth grows and their buying behavior is not going to be affected. You are not going to sell through Instagram because you like it or Instagram's fun for you. If you have found them to be your followers by providing great information to them. So ideal customer, just like every human, flexes, changes, is going to be that they are changing. So the way you message what you do, the way you deliver your magic should change for them. Secondly, I want you to stop making decisions for your business based on your feelings and start making decisions for your business based on your data. People will be like, Lisa, my sales are down. And I'll be like, how much did you make last month? You don't need to know the businessy word to be able to do this, but am I looking at the dashboard of my car and see if there's enough gas, which is the money, to drive it where we need to go? So stop relying on your feelings. You can certainly use your intuition, but like start looking at your numbers and using that to make decisions and understand when things are changing. These numbers need to include the results, which is the money. We need to understand the effort, which is the marketing. So we need to see both the effort we're making and then the results. And then we start to see what those patterns are. Every business has a math problem where we can see what levers we need to be turning up and down. I had one client do it, and they said one thing Lisa said made me $10,000 more. The third thing is you need a pricing strategy that works in the environment that you're in currently. Reaction to have to where should I be positioned in the market right now is not to be the cheapest, like a bag of rice. And you don't want to be people making choices about you based on how much does it cost. So a pricing strategy, I often say, in an unsure economic environment, go up. Now, my particular strategy that has worked for me and a lot of my clients is to price 75th to 100% of the market, price near the top. Like, let's actually say 75 to 80, and then you service at 100. So you are expensive, but you're worth it because you are actually providing more worth than you cost. One of my favorite statistics is what is the lifetime value of my customer? Because if somebody stays with me for 10 years, how much money is that bringing in and consistency it's providing for my business? Number 3, have a pricing strategy. Number 4 is understand what is changing about social media. Understand what is changing about social media and email marketing and make sure you're using both effective. That goes out of the free webinar and into the paid stuff with me to teach you how to actually do it, but just make sure you're paying attention and make sure you're using both well and using them to create a sales funnel to allow people to know who you are, get them to trust you, and then sell to them. Number 5 is what I call position. But how often are you figuring out where else are people getting in this current environment what I provide? It could be going to an Equinox, a really fancy gym, or it could be going to a Planet Fitness, which is a more bargain price gym. And I want to look at all of those things and choose where am I going to position myself? That the people who provide what you do are constantly changing. And AI is going to change a lot of people's markets. You need to be in the practice of the business of constantly moving and changing to the environment. If you own a product or service that's in a particular town, then you need to be paying attention to that town or place. If you are using Facebook ads or Meta ads, Facebook and Instagram and Google ads, is that the ad turnaround time slows way down because there's more review that's happening. So you want to put a longer lead time. Ads also get more expensive because a lot of people are buying ads.